My beloved child, I have waited long for this moment, and you must understand with urgency that what I speak now cannot be delayed. For these words are not ordinary words but living truth, carrying the weight of heaven into your present hour, and they will stir within you a fire you cannot quench, because you have been searching, asking, yearning, and I have seen how you pressed forward even when silence surrounded you. But now the silence breaks, and I tell you that this moment is set apart in the scroll of time, marked by my hand, because the things I reveal now are things hidden since the beginning, and they are for you, for your generation, for your bloodline, for your household, and they come with urgency because there is no time to waste. The night has been long, but dawn has broken, and you must not hesitate in receiving the fullness of what I am about to pour into your life. For the storm you endured was not punishment but preparation. It was not abandonment but alignment. Every tear that fell has been gathered, every cry that rose has been heard. And now I move swiftly, because your waiting season is collapsing into a moment of release. And though the enemy whispered that you were forgotten, I thunder over you now that you are chosen. You are marked. You are seen. And I will not let another day pass without showing you that I have been walking with you through fire, through flood, through darkness, through rejection, through pain. And I am now raising you up for a testimony that no man, no voice, no opposition will be able to deny. And so I say to you, be alert, be awake. Do not grow weary now, because this is the hour of unveiling. This is the moment where chains break and truth explodes like light into your life. And what you thought you lost is returning in a greater measure. What you thought was dead is coming alive with breath from my spirit. And what you thought was delayed is arriving suddenly, like a flood rushing down from the mountain, unstoppable, undeniable, unshakable, for I have declared it so, and no power in the earth or under the earth will overturn my decree. And you must cling tightly, my child, for storms will still roar around you, but this time they will not consume you. They will testify of my strength within you, because I am filling you with courage that will not collapse, peace that cannot be stolen, and fire that cannot be extinguished. And as you hear my words now, know that you are standing in a crossing moment, a point in history where your faith has summoned my intervention. And I am here. I am near. I am moving, and every second from this moment forward will reveal that my plans are alive, that my promises are active, and that my hand is stretched out to lift you where you could never climb by yourself. And this is why I told you I have waited long for this moment, because now you are ready. Now you will see. Now you will walk in what was once only dreamed of, and the testimony that flows from you will become a signal fire to those lost in their own darkness, pointing them back to me. For I have chosen you for this, and I am telling you urgently. Do not turn away, do not shrink back, do not let doubt steal what I am declaring right now. It is time, child. It is time. It is time. You have walked through storms, my child. But let me tell you urgently that none of those storms were random, none of them were wasted, and none of them escaped my gaze. For each trial that rose against you carried within it a secret shaping, a refining of your spirit, a strengthening of your heart. And though you often felt you were drowning in the weight of pressure, I was there anchoring you in unseen ways, holding you when your own strength failed, guiding you when confusion clouded your vision, and even when you thought you would not make it through another night, my hand sustained you, for I would not allow destruction to consume you, because you are mine, marked with my seal, and I will not forsake what belongs to me. So hear me with urgency. The very winds that sought to scatter you are now testifying to your endurance. The waves that rose high to intimidate you are bowing to my authority, and the fire that burned around you is now the evidence that I was with you inside the furnace, ensuring that not a single thread of your destiny would be consumed. And while you looked at the chaos and thought you were abandoned, I was rewriting your story in those moments. I was chiseling away the fear that once bound you, and I was preparing you for a stage that demands resilience, because what is coming requires you to stand unshaken, unbent, unafraid. And so the storms you survived have become proof that you carry strength greater than the enemy's schemes, and that strength did not come from within your flesh, but from the spirit I placed within you, the spirit that cannot be broken, the spirit that rises like a lion even when everything outside you tries to silence its roar. And this is why I say with urgency, you are stronger now than you realize. For storms have been your training ground, pain has been your preparation, Rejection has been your redirection, and all of it has brought you to this appointed season, where you will no longer merely survive, but rise. You will no longer hide in the shadows, but shine in the open. And those who doubted your endurance will witness with trembling that I carried you through what was designed to end you. And they will see that my hand was not only a shield, but a weapon that turned every storm into a stepping stone, every wave into a platform, every battle into a breakthrough. And as you stand now in this very moment, know with urgency that the storms behind you are not just memories but monuments. They testify that I am faithful. They declare that I do not abandon my children. And they prove that when I say you will live, you will not die. When I say you will overcome, no force can keep you defeated. When I say you are chosen, no lie can disqualify you. For my word over you stands unshakable, and it is my word, not the storm, that has the final say in your life. So let your heart breathe again. Let your soul rise in confidence. Let your spirit burn with fire, because what is coming next will demand the strength you have gained. And you will walk into it not as the same person who entered the storm, but as one transformed, refined, made ready for glory. And this is why I remind you now with urgency. Child, you walked through storms, but you did not remain in them. You are crossing over. You are standing on the other side. You are stepping into the place where storms lose their power, and my promise begins to shine. And from this moment onward, nothing will ever look the same again. What you believed to be silence was never neglect, my child, for while you thought heaven withheld its voice, I was weaving threads of destiny behind the veil, arranging alignments you could not yet perceive, building bridges where you only saw distance, and shifting pieces on the board of your life so that at the appointed hour, everything would converge in your favor. And though you wondered if I had forgotten, I was orchestrating details too intricate for your eyes to trace, setting in motion answers before you ever knew what to ask, preparing provision before the need could even arise. And this is why I tell you with urgency. You cannot judge my presence by the sound you hear or the sight you see, for I often move in hidden realms, planting seeds beneath the soil of time, waiting for the precise season to bring forth harvest. And while you cried out in longing, thinking I delayed, I was ensuring that nothing premature would rob you of fullness. For I am not a God of fragments but of completion, and I will not hand you pieces that fall apart. I will deliver the whole promise when your spirit is ready to carry it. So understand this moment urgently. The hidden seasons were not emptiness but preparation. They were not void but incubation. They were not silence but symphonies being composed in secret. And now you stand at the doorway where what was concealed bursts forth into reality, where what was whispered in darkness is shouted in light, and where what was withheld is suddenly released with power. And as I reveal this to you, know that I have already dispatched answers that will overtake you quickly, blessings that will interrupt ordinary days, and breakthroughs that will shatter long-standing walls. And you will see clearly that I was working while you were waiting. I was fighting while you were weary. I was arranging while you were asking, and I was defending while you were doubting. For even in your uncertainty, my love held you fast. And I tell you now with urgency, prepare your heart, for manifestations are about to collide with your reality. Long-prayed desires are being fulfilled, delayed petitions are being answered, and hidden treasures are being unveiled, not by your striving but by my design. And the days ahead will testify that my silence was not abandonment but strategy. It was not absence but nearness in disguise. And soon you will say with your own mouth, if he had spoken sooner, I would have missed this perfect timing, because what I am releasing now could only come after the shaping, after the hiddenness, after the waiting. And this is why I urge you, my child, do not despise the silence, for it birthed the strength you need to steward what is coming. And do not curse the waiting, for it carved out the space to hold greater glory. And do not question the unseen, for it has proven more powerful than what is visible. And as you step forward from this moment, know with urgency that you will begin to perceive my hand in places you overlooked. You will notice divine patterns in what you once called coincidences. You will uncover answers folded into the very things you thought were delays. And you will realize that I have always been near, closer than your breath, nearer than your thoughts, guiding every step, turning every detail, arranging every outcome. And now the unveiling begins. Child, lift up your head, for the silence has ended, and what has been hidden is about to roar into your life with unstoppable force. I am uncovering mysteries that were hidden from you, my child, and I need you to hear me with urgency. For what I reveal in this hour will separate the past from the future, confusion from clarity, despair from hope, and you must understand that the veils that once blinded you are being torn apart by my own hand. For too long shadows have tried to distort your vision, voices have tried to drown out my truth, and lies have tried to persuade you that your path was uncertain. But now I step in to expose every deception and to illuminate the direction I have set before you, and what once felt like a maze will unfold into a straight path, lit brightly with my presence, and the heaviness of unanswered questions will dissolve under the weight of my revelation. For I am the God who does not leave his children wandering without guidance, and though you felt abandoned to figure it all out on your own, I was preparing to pour understanding like rivers into your spirit, to show you that I never intended for you to live chained by confusion. So hear me now. Every hidden thing that kept you in darkness is being exposed. Every plot formed against you in secrecy is collapsing. Every thought that stirred anxiety is being silenced, and every shadow that whispered fear is fleeing at the sound of my voice. And you will begin to see clearly not only where I am leading you, but also why the delays, the struggles, the detours were necessary. For in my unveiling comes not only answers but perspective, and you will marvel at how every piece fits into a design far greater than your understanding. And urgently I tell you, do not cling to the fragments of the old vision, for I am expanding it, enlarging it, stretching it beyond what you thought possible. And though your mind will struggle to contain it, your spirit will leap in recognition, because deep within you my spirit has been whispering of this moment all along, preparing you for the day when confusion would give way to clarity, and sorrow would give way to joy, and weariness would give way to purpose. And now that day is upon you, child. It is here. It is unfolding. It is alive. And you must walk boldly in it, not doubting, not shrinking, not questioning whether you are worthy. For I have made you worthy by my own sacrifice, and I have called you by name to step into this unveiling with courage. For I am not only revealing direction, I am also revealing hidden enemies, exposing secret snares, dismantling unseen traps, and declaring with authority that nothing concealed can remain against you. For light always drives away darkness, and in this unveiling, you will not only see me more clearly, you will see yourself more clearly. You will recognize the strength I placed within you, the calling stamped upon you, the purpose designed for you, and you will no longer be swayed by lies that said you were too weak, too late, or too broken. For the revelation I give you now comes as a fire to burn away deception, and as a lamp to guide your every step. And urgently I tell you, guard this light, carry it with determination. Let no voice steal it from you. Let no distraction blind you again. For I am revealing not just for today but for the days ahead, that you might walk in confidence, that you might lead others out of their confusion, that you might shine as a beacon in the night. And so I say again, my child, lift up your eyes. The veils are falling, the shadows are breaking, the lies are collapsing, and what was hidden is now made plain before you. And this unveiling will carry you into victories you never thought possible. The delays you endured were not punishment, my beloved, but carefully measured timing, and I speak this with urgency so you do not mistake what seemed like denial for neglect, because I have never turned my face from you. Rather, I slowed the pace so that I could position you exactly where overflowing goodness would meet you without loss. For blessings released too soon can crush rather than lift. Doors opened prematurely can trap rather than free, and opportunities granted outside of season can wound rather than heal. And so I withheld not because you were unworthy, but because I was protecting you from receiving what your spirit was not yet equipped to carry. And though impatience whispered that I was far, I was near, ensuring that nothing stolen would ever define your destiny, because my desire has always been for you to stand complete, whole, and strong when the release arrive. And urgently I tell you, every pause was preparation, every silence was strategy, every seeming standstill was a shield wrapped around you. For the enemy longed to push you into places that looked good on the surface but were poisoned at the root, and had I allowed you to enter those spaces without my timing, you would have been harmed in ways you could not see. But now that the season has turned, now that the waiting has matured, now that your roots have grown deep, I am bringing you into a place where what flows cannot be reversed, what is given cannot be taken, and what is released cannot be spoiled, for I, the Lord, have appointed this moment, and I declare with urgency that what you are about to step into is no ordinary portion but abundance measured by my own hand. And though you questioned if you had missed your chance, I assure you, nothing was lost, nothing was wasted, nothing was delayed beyond its appointed time, and soon you will see how every detour was protection, how every unanswered request was mercy, how every closed path was kindness, because I did not create you to live with fragments but to walk in fullness, and that fullness is now approaching like the rising of the morning sun, unstoppable, undeniable, spreading light across every area of your life. And as it rises, you will no longer mourn what was withheld, for you will recognize that what is arriving is far greater than what you once thought you needed. And urgently I tell you, brace yourself, not for disappointment but for overwhelming goodness, not for scarcity but for overflowing provision, not for struggle but for victories stacked one after another, because the time of holding back has ended, and I am releasing a measure of favor that will not only lift you but also sustain you through what is coming next. For I do not give halfway. I do not release partially. I give until the cup overflows, and I am preparing to do that in your life now. So lift your head, steady your heart, sharpen your faith, for the delay has accomplished its work, and you are standing on the threshold of manifestation that no power can halt, no voice can cancel, no hand can block. And urgently I call you to believe again, trust again, hope again, because what I am pouring out will prove that the waiting was not in vain, and you will testify that my timing was perfect, my covering was faithful, and my plan was always greater than your imagination. The doors you knocked upon with trembling and tears are now unlocking, my child, and I speak with urgency because you must be ready to walk through without hesitation, for the openings that rise before you are not small passages but wide gates designed by my hand, and once you step inside, no one will be able to shut them again. No adversary will be able to bar them. No opinion will be able to close them. For I am the one who opens and no man can shut. And I am doing this so you will know it was not human effort, not influence, not connections that brought this breakthrough, but my own authority breaking through barriers that stood immovable for years. And though you grew weary knocking, though you grew discouraged waiting at locked entrances, I have come to turn the key. And I declare with urgency that this turning cannot be reversed. For what is loosed now was bound for a season. But I decree freedom over what belongs to you, and you will see how quickly everything shifts, how walls crumble, how opportunities align, how paths straighten, and you will marvel that what resisted you suddenly welcomes you, that what denied you now embraces you, that what ignored you now honors you. For I am changing the atmosphere around your name, and where rejection once echoed, favor will now speak loudly, and urgently I tell you, do not shrink back in fear when these doors open, for the temptation will be to question if you are ready. But I say to you now, I have prepared you in silence. I have shaped you in storms. I have refined you in waiting, and you are ready to step into what I have ordained. So do not delay. Do not doubt. Do not pause. Walk boldly through the thresholds I present, and as you do, understand that these are not ordinary doors. They are gateways into assignments, into blessings, into callings, into provision, into relationships, and into victories that will ripple beyond your life into generations yet to come. For I am not only answering your prayers, I am answering the cries of those connected to your destiny, and urgently I remind you, every no you faced before was not rejection but redirection. Every closed opportunity was my mercy shielding you from harm. Every delay was my kindness preserving you for this very unveiling, and now that the doors swing wide, you will realize I withheld nothing good from you. I only preserved the best until the appointed moment, and that moment is now. It is unfolding before you. It is stretching out like a path of light, and I command you to move forward, for the doors are not opening so you can stand at the threshold in wonder. They are opening so you can enter and occupy, so you can build and plant, so you can inherit and prosper, so you can testify and shine. And I warn you with urgency, child, do not let fear or hesitation keep you standing outside any longer, for the enemy will whisper that you are unqualified, that the timing is unsafe, that the opportunity is too great. But those are lies to steal your courage, for I myself am walking ahead of you into these places, I myself am securing what waits beyond the doorway. I myself am placing favor in the hearts of those you will encounter, and I myself am ensuring that no weapon formed against you will prosper inside these new spaces. So walk boldly, walk confidently, walk expectantly, for these doors have been reserved for you, and as you pass through, you will know with certainty that the tears you shed knocking were not in vain, the prayers you lifted were not wasted, and the persistence you carried has been honored in heaven. For now the doors stand open, and they will remain open until you have fully received all I prepared for you within them. I have seen the schemes of those who plotted against you, and urgently I tell you, their devices hold no power over what I have decreed. For while they whispered in hidden places, imagining their words could derail your future, I was writing chapters they could not erase, and while they raised their hands to strike, I shielded you so that not even one blow could destroy what I have built within you. And I say now with authority, every weapon designed to harm you has been dismantled before it could pierce. Every curse spoken against you has dissolved into emptiness. Every snare set beneath your steps has collapsed under my feet. For I am your defender, and I will not allow your destiny to be dictated by the intentions of men, no matter how loud they shout or how strong they appear, because I am higher, I am greater, I am sovereign, and urgently I need you to believe that no earthly opposition can override what heaven has spoken. And though you felt the sting of betrayal, though you sensed the weight of falsehood pressing against your name, though you saw doors closed because of lies told in dark corners, I have turned their slander into stepping stones. I have taken their venom and made it the soil for your growth, and I have allowed their hostility only to magnify the testimony of my covering. And urgently I tell you, do not waste another moment fearing what man can do, for I am surrounding you with fire that no hand can penetrate, and I am lifting you above the reach of those who long to drag you down, and I am making their threats powerless, their judgments void, their accusations lifeless. For when I declare you are mine, no opinion can change it. When I affirm your calling, no voice can cancel it. When I anoint your path, no enemy can block it, and you must understand with urgency that every attempt made to break you has become evidence of my preservation. Every assault has proven my strength within you. Every attempt to silence you has only amplified the sound of your rising, and soon those who opposed you will watch in silence as I exalt you in plain sight, not to shame them but to prove that no weapon prospered, no word prevailed, no plot succeeded, because I stood with you when none else would. And urgently I tell you, release the bitterness. Let go of the need to prove yourself. Do not carry the weight of vengeance, for that belongs to me, and I have already issued the verdict. You are vindicated, you are justified, you are free, and nothing said against you will cling to your life. It all falls lifeless at your feet, and in the days ahead you will walk unhindered, unafraid, unashamed, for I have removed the stains of accusation. I have silenced the echo of slander. I have shattered the chains of intimidation, and I am establishing you in a place where your name will no longer be tied to what was spoken falsely, but to what I am releasing truly. And urgently I urge you, lift your eyes, fix your gaze, move forward, for the enemies who rose against you will stumble on their own snares, they will fall by their own words, they will be undone by their own schemes, and you will not need to lift a hand, for my justice is complete, and you will walk in peace knowing that I, the Lord your God, have seen, have acted, have defended, and will continue to be your shield forever. Every false word spoken about you is falling powerless to the ground, my child, and urgently I declare that no lie will cling to your name, no distortion will define your story, no rumor will mark your future, for I am the truth, and in my presence deceit cannot stand, and though people may have tried to clothe you with garments of accusation, I strip them away and robe you in honor, dignity, and righteousness that comes from my own hand. And urgently I tell you, stop carrying the weight of words never birthed in truth, for they are empty shadows that vanish at the brightness of my light, and I will not allow you to be imprisoned by labels spoken out of envy, fear, or hatred, because I am the one who names you, and my naming overrides every false title, every false narrative, every false judgment placed upon you. And while others may have rejoiced in seeing you misunderstood, I am rewriting their narratives and silencing their claims, for I alone hold authority over your destiny. And urgently I say, let your heart no longer rehearse their words, let your mind no longer replay their opinions, for their speech has no weight before my throne, and I have rendered their sentences void, their accusations hollow, their curses broken, and you will begin to see how quickly lies unravel when truth rises, how swiftly dishonor dissolves when my glory covers you, how decisively I overturn the tables of deceit, and you will marvel that those who once shouted against you will stand speechless, unable to understand how I vindicated you without you raising a defense, without you proving a case, without you fighting for recognition, for I myself fought for you. I myself spoke over you. I myself cleared your name, and urgently I need you to believe that what I speak carries eternal weight, while what man utters in falsehood is dust scattered by the wind, unable to last, unable to endure, and you will walk in the peace of knowing that slander has no future, gossip has no power, deception has no permanence, for my truth stands forever. And urgently I remind you, the battle for your identity was never against flesh and blood. It was the enemy trying to smear what I have chosen, but he has failed. He has been exposed, his tactics have been shattered, and all that remains is my seal upon you, bright, unshakable, undeniable, and as you move forward, people will see my hand so clearly that they will know the words spoken before were false, and they will see the fruit I produce in your life and understand that only truth could create such abundance, only light could bring such growth, only my spirit could breathe such life. And urgently I say, rejoice not in their downfall but in your freedom, rejoice not in their silence but in your rising, rejoice not in their shame but in my justice, for I will deal with every tongue that rose against you, and you will know I am faithful, I am just, I am the God who defends the innocent and lifts the pure in heart, and soon the very atmosphere around you will shift. Your name will be spoken with honor where once it was scorned. Your life will shine with testimony where once it was mocked. Your walk will radiate peace where once it was trailed by suspicion, for I have overturned the verdict. I have canceled the charges. I have declared you free, and urgently I tell you, rise, child, walk boldly, stand tall, for truth surrounds you. My light covers you, and no lie will ever define you again. This season is not designed to crush you, my beloved, but to reveal the unshakable foundation I placed within you, and urgently I tell you, the pressure you felt pressing on every side was never meant to destroy you but to prove that my strength was sustaining you all along, for if you had been walking alone, the weight would have buried you. Yet here you stand, still breathing, still holding on, still lifting your eyes, because my hand never released you, and you must understand that what felt like abandonment was actually refinement, for in the very moments you questioned if I was near, I was chiseling away fear, pride, doubt, and despair so that only faith, courage, and resilience remained. And though you wanted me to remove the struggle quickly, I allowed you to walk through the fire so you would see that the fire could not consume what I have sealed as mine, and urgently I declare, you are not fragile, you are not weak, you are not defeated, you are unshakable because I am inside you, and the opposition you endured has become evidence of your calling, for if there were nothing of value upon you, the adversary would not have wasted his energy, but because you carry destiny, he tried to overwhelm you, and every time he thought you would break, my spirit within you lifted you again, whispering, you will not fall, you will not quit, you will not be overtaken. And urgently I say, look back and see how many nights you thought were your end yet became mornings of unexpected mercy, how many valleys you thought would swallow you yet turned into highways of deliverance, how many tears you thought would drown you yet watered the seeds of greatness that are now sprouting forth. And know that this season was never to mark you with shame but to crown you with testimony, for I allowed the weight to rest upon you only to prove that my strength is greater than your weakness, and now you rise carrying proof that storms cannot erase purpose, pain cannot erase promise, and trials cannot erase truth. And urgently I remind you, your scars are not signs of defeat, but signs of survival. They are proof that though the enemy came against you, I carried you through, and what once felt like the end will soon be remembered as the turning point where everything shifted, where you realized that my power in you is greater than every mountain before you, and from this point forward, you will no longer see struggle as punishment but as preparation. You will no longer interpret silence as absence but as strategy. You will no longer view opposition as weakness but as confirmation, because I have shown you that when you stand with me, nothing can prevail against you. And urgently I call you to step into this new understanding, walk with confidence, Hold your head high, for you are not a victim of circumstance, but a vessel of glory. You are not marked by what tried to break you, but by what sustained you. And you are not remembered in heaven for how much you suffered, but for how much you trusted, and because of that trust, I now release new strength, new vision, new authority upon you. And you will not walk as before, but as one who knows the storm cannot define them, for the storm has passed and you remain. The trial has ended and you endure. The weight has lifted and you rise. And urgently I tell you, what you carry now is heavier than gold, stronger than iron, brighter than fire. It is the testimony of my faithfulness etched into your life forever. And nothing, no one, no force, no voice will ever erase it again. I am bringing restoration beyond imagination, not only into your own life, but flowing outward to those connected to you. And urgently I tell you, what I am releasing will not be contained in your hands alone, for it will spill over into your family, your household, your relationships, even into generations you have not yet seen, because I am the God who redeems not partially, but completely. And when I restore, I return with increase. When I rebuild, I establish with strength. When I heal, I leave no trace of the wound. And urgently I speak this so you understand. The areas of loss you thought would remain empty are being filled with more than what was taken. The cracks you thought permanent are being sealed with beauty greater than what stood before. The years you considered wasted are being repaid with fruit so abundant that others will marvel and ask how such a turnaround could even be possible. And you will answer with certainty, it was the Lord, because no human effort could accomplish what I am about to do. And urgently I want you to see that this restoration is not limited to material things, though provision will surely come, but it reaches deeper, into broken trust, into fractured hearts, into memories that wounded you, into dreams you buried, into hopes you silenced, and I am breathing life into them again, causing what seemed dead to live, causing what seemed beyond repair to shine with new brilliance, causing what seemed forgotten to rise into remembrance before my throne. And as I restore, I do not simply return what was lost. I multiply, I enlarge, I increase, for my promise has always been that I will repay double for your shame. I will grant beauty for ashes. I will give joy for mourning. And urgently I tell you, prepare yourself, for the restoration will arrive suddenly, without warning, in ways you never expected, and it will silence every doubt, overturn every fear, and bring tears of awe to your eyes, because my hand is moving swiftly to return what the enemy devoured. And not only will you receive, but those tied to you, by blood, by covenant, by destiny, will also taste of this blessing, for I am turning households around. I'm healing family wounds that stretched for years. I am bringing prodigals back into arms of love. I'm softening hearts hardened by bitterness. I am lifting burdens that weighed entire generations. And urgently I tell you, do not think this restoration is small, for it will echo, it will ripple, it will spread, and as it spreads, you will see laughter where there was weeping, you will see unity where there was division, you will see hope where despair had rooted itself, and all will know it was my doing, for no effort of man can restore on this scale. Only I can rebuild what was shattered and make it more glorious than before. And urgently I say, stand ready, lift your hands, open your heart, for the waves of restoration are already rolling toward you. They are carrying blessings into your life. They are carrying healing into your body. They are carrying reconciliation into your family. They are carrying provision into your lack. And they will not stop until the fullness of my promise has been delivered. Until you and those connected to you stand in the overflow of my goodness. And urgently I remind you, when I restore completely, leaving nothing broken, nothing missing, nothing unfinished. And that is what I am doing for you now. Watch as everything begins to live again. You have wondered many times if your prayers truly reached my throne, if they ascended beyond the ceiling above you, or if they dissolved in the air unheard. But urgently I tell you now, not one word you spoke to me in faith has ever vanished. Not one cry has gone unnoticed. Not one whisper has been ignored. For every utterance that poured from your heart has been recorded before me, sealed in heaven, and preserved for its appointed moment. And though you thought silence meant absence, it was instead my assurance that I was listening with full attention, waiting for the precise moment to answer in ways greater than your imagination. And urgently I tell you this, because you must no longer doubt. Your prayers are powerful. Your voice matters to me. Your petitions stir my heart. And even when you prayed with trembling lips, uncertain if I cared, I bent low to hear you, and I caught every syllable as though it were the rarest treasure, storing it as incense in bowls that are now tipping over to release response, and urgently I reveal to you. Those prayers you thought forgotten are alive before me. Those midnight cries you thought wasted are echoing in my presence. Those whispered hopes you dared not even speak aloud are rising like a fragrance that cannot be denied. And I am moving on them even now, aligning answers, shifting circumstances, stirring hearts, and opening pathways that seemed locked for years. And you will soon see the undeniable connection between the words you released and the miracles that manifest. For I never allow a seed of prayer to die barren. I water it, I guard it, I nurture it until it blooms in season. And urgently I urge you, keep praying, keep lifting your voice, keep pouring your heart out before me, not because I have not heard, but because every prayer builds a foundation upon which I pour greater glory. And I tell you now with urgency, some of your prayers were not answered in the timing you expected because they were too small compared to the blessing I was preparing. And if I had answered when you asked, you would have settled for less than what I intended. But because you kept praying, because you kept pressing, because you kept believing even when hope felt thin, I've expanded the measure, multiplied the portion, and magnified the answer, so that when it comes you will fall to your knees in awe, recognizing that I not only heard but that I exceeded. I overflowed, I overwhelmed with goodness, and urgently I remind you that there is no such thing as an unheard prayer in my kingdom. For even the ones spoken through tears too deep for words, the ones released through groans of the Spirit, the ones birthed from desperation when language failed you, those prayers reached me louder than any shout, and I honored them, and I am moving on them still, and soon your life will testify not just that I heard, but that I acted, that I intervened, that I delivered. And urgently I tell you, my child, let this truth anchor you. I am the God who hears. I am the God who remembers. I am the God who answers. And your prayers have never been wasted. They are the very reason breakthroughs are about to burst forth. I have gathered every tear, every sigh, every unspoken ache that flowed from your soul when words could not form, and urgently I tell you, not a single drop has been overlooked, for I am the keeper of your cries, the one who bends close when you groan in silence, and I have carried those moments like treasure, storing them as proof of your faith, even when you felt weak, and though you thought your pain went unnoticed in the night, I was watching with compassion, and I was holding your sorrow as though it were precious oil poured at my feet. And urgently I need you to know, those tears were not wasted. They watered the very ground where I will cause joy to spring forth. They became rivers that nourished the seeds of destiny. They became offerings that reached my throne, speaking louder than words, declaring your trust even in brokenness. And I tell you now, because you did not withhold your heart, because you allowed yourself to be vulnerable before me, I am turning every cry into rejoicing, every sigh into song, every lament into laughter. And urgently I declare, what you sowed in grief you will reap in celebration, and the measure of your weeping will be the measure of your rejoicing, for I have promised beauty in exchange for ashes, gladness instead of despair. And I will keep that promise, for I cannot lie. And you will see how I transform the very moments that once haunted you into testimonies that strengthen others, how I take what was bitter and make it sweet, how I take what was heavy and make it light. And urgently I remind you, I do not ignore the silent prayers of pain. I do not discard the evidence of your suffering. I record it all. I redeem it all. I restore it all. And I use it all to weave glory through your story. And though you wish the nights of sorrow had been shorter, I tell you urgently that they have ended, and the dawn of joy has come, and you will not carry the same burden into the future. For I am lifting it from your shoulders. I am breaking its hold over your spirit. I am breathing fresh strength into your bones, and urgently I command you to believe that the season of endless tears is closing, for I have heard, I have seen, I have moved, and I am releasing waves of joy that will overtake you suddenly, and your mouth will be filled with laughter that cannot be silenced, and the same eyes that watched you weep will witness you rejoice, and they will marvel that such transformation could happen so swiftly. But you will know, it was I, It was my hand. It was my love. And urgently I tell you again, hold fast, child, for every tear was counted, every cry was sacred, and I am answering them now with joy that will overflow without end. The struggles you endured have been counted as faith, my child, and urgently I tell you, every moment you chose to stand when it would have been easier to quit has been recorded in heaven, not as failure but as victory, not as weakness but as trust. For though you thought your belief was too small, I saw that even a flicker of faith in the darkness carried weight far greater than the strength of unbelief. And I honored it, I cherished it, I multiplied it, for faith is not measured by the size of the mountain you moved, but by the willingness to lean on me even when nothing around you made sense. And urgently I say, I have seen how you prayed even when answers seemed delayed, how you worshipped even when heaviness pressed down, how you lifted your eyes even when shadows surrounded, and I have called those moments faith. I have counted them as precious. I have written them into your story as seeds that will bear fruit, and soon you will see that not one act of trust went unnoticed, not one sacrifice of belief was ignored, for I am the God who rewards those who cling to me, and urgently I tell you, the reward is on its way, the harvest is near, the results of your faith are about to manifest in ways you never expected, and you will look back and realize that the nights you spent pressing forward against all odds were the very nights that built the foundation for the miracles now approaching, and urgently I remind you, faith was never about perfection, it was about persistence, and though you stumbled, you rose again. Though you doubted, you kept reaching. Though you felt empty, you still lifted your voice, and I have honored that, and I am releasing blessing not because you earned it, but because you trusted me through the fire. And now the fire will prove the gold within you, for your faith has been refined, your endurance has been strengthened, your spirit has been enlarged, and urgently I declare, the heavens are opening to pour out the answers that your faith has demanded. The doors are swinging wide because your faith knocked long enough. The healing is flowing because your faith would not let go, and the provision is arriving because your faith cried out for it. And you will testify that though you felt weak, your faith was mighty. Though you felt small, your trust was seen as great, and though you thought your prayers were fragile, they were powerful weapons tearing down walls, and urgently I urge you, do not stop now. Do not let weariness silence the faith you've built, for what is coming will require you to believe even more boldly, to step even more confidently, to declare even more fearlessly, and I will be with you in it, strengthening, guiding, empowering, so that your faith will continue to grow until it becomes not only your shield, but also a light for others to follow. And as they watch your journey, they will see that faith is not about never facing storms, but about holding on to me within them. And urgently I tell you, you have passed through the refining fire, and your faith stands as testimony before angels, before heaven, before generations yet to come, and now it will call down rewards that will shake the very ground beneath you. For I am faithful to honor faith, and I will honor yours without delay. Even in the moments when you felt weak, when your strength seemed gone and your hands could no longer lift themselves in hope, I was shaping something inside you far deeper than you realized, and urgently I tell you this so you will never again confuse exhaustion with failure, for I was using those very times of emptiness to form a resilience in your spirit that could not be broken by pressure, a depth that could not be shaken by trial, and a strength that could not be stolen by adversity. And while you looked at yourself and saw fragility, I looked at you and saw a vessel being built for endurance, for authority, for glory, and urgently I remind you, I do not measure strength the way the world does, by outward appearance or physical might. I measure it by the capacity of your spirit to keep holding on to me when everything else falls away. And in those moments when you whispered that you had nothing left, I was pouring into you a supernatural stamina, a fire that would not burn out, a foundation that could carry far more than you ever imagined. And though you despised your weakness, I treasured it, because in weakness my power rests fully, and I filled the very places you thought were empty with a strength that was not your own. And urgently I tell you, this strength was not wasted. It was not formed for comfort. It was formed for the battles yet ahead, for the assignments you will step into, for the calling that demands a spirit refined by struggle. And you will soon see that the very things you thought disqualified you have become the evidence that you are ready. The very weaknesses you hated have become the places where my power shines brightest. and the very moments you felt broken have become the testimony that my grace is sufficient, always sufficient, never failing, never lacking, and urgently I say, do not despise the shaping process. For I used every hardship to enlarge your spirit, every disappointment to strengthen your resolve, every fall to teach you to rise again. And because of this you now carry an authority that cannot be shaken by words, by fear, or by opposition. And urgently I tell you, I am placing upon you assignments that require this depth, missions that require this endurance, responsibilities that require this resilience, and you will stand in places you never thought possible, not because of your own might, but because of the strength I forged in the fire of your weakness, and you will shine as proof that dependence on me is never wasted, that surrender produces true power, that brokenness invites true glory. And urgently I urge you, do not hide the story of your weakness, for it will become the key that unlocks healing in others. Do not be ashamed of the moments you thought were failures, for they will become testimonies that draw others out of despair. And do not think lightly of the inner battles you overcame, for they were the soil where a strength unlike any other was planted. And now it will bloom before the world, undeniable, unstoppable, unshakable. And urgently I remind you, my child, your weakness was never a curse. It was the place where I chose to dwell most fully. And because of that, your strength now is not your own. It is mine flowing through you, and no one, no circumstance, no enemy will ever take that away. The pain you carried in silence has not been wasted, my beloved, for urgently I tell you, I was shaping you in those hidden places where no one else could see, and though you longed for someone to understand the weight you bore, I was the one who leaned close and collected every silent groan, every secret ache, every unspoken burden, and while you thought those wounds would remain scars of shame, I was preparing to turn them into marks of glory. For what you endured quietly is now becoming the very testimony that will shine loudly. And urgently I want you to see that I do not allow pain without purpose. I do not permit hardship without harvest. I do not let suffering linger without redemption. And in every sleepless night where you pressed your face into the pillow, trying to muffle the cries of your heart, I was sowing seeds of compassion, of endurance, of wisdom, of authority that only grows in the soil of trial. And urgently I say, the sorrow you carried has carved space for joy to overflow. The loneliness you walked through has opened doors for deeper connection with me, and the wounds you thought would weaken you have become the very places where my power flows the strongest. And soon you will see how what you carried in secret will bring healing to others in public, how the story of your struggle will unlock freedom for those bound by chains you once knew well, how the journey through your valley will lead many out of their own. And urgently I tell you, stop despising the weight of yesterday, for it is the reason you are strong enough for today, and stop cursing the nights of anguish, for they are the very nights that forged a fire within you, and stop resenting the brokenness, for it has made you a vessel that carries my glory without pride, without boasting, without arrogance, because you know it was not your strength that sustained you. It was mine, and urgently I say, the season of silent pain is closing, but the fruit it birthed will remain, and you will carry it into new assignments, new places, new seasons, where others will look at you and see not only survival but radiance, not only scars but beauty, not only endurance but transformation, and they will know that I alone could turn such pain into such strength. And urgently I urge you, lift your head, open your hands, let go of the shame of what you suffered, for I am clothing you in honor where there was once heaviness. I am placing crowns where there were once ashes. I am releasing joy where there was once mourning, and you will not only walk free, but lead others into freedom, for your pain has become the key that unlocks chains, and your story has become the evidence of my power. And urgently I tell you, child, rejoice, for the silent nights are ending, and the dawn of glory is rising upon you. Do not let fear grip your heart about what lies ahead, for urgently I tell you, I already stand in your tomorrow, arranging what you cannot yet see, preparing what you do not yet know, and securing what you have not yet imagined. And while uncertainty tries to whisper that the future is fragile, I declare it is firmly in my hands, and no power of darkness can snatch it from me. And urgently I say, every resource you will ever need is already waiting, every answer has already been set in motion, every provision has already been marked with your name, and nothing will arrive late, nothing will be withheld, Nothing will slip through your fingers, for I have orchestrated the days ahead with precision. And while you feared stepping forward because you thought you might stumble, I have already placed light upon your path so that you will walk steadily, confidently, unafraid. And urgently I tell you, the unknown that intimidated you is not a void but a canvas I have painted with blessings, opportunities, and victories. And as you move forward you will discover that my presence is not waiting for you there. It is already there, filling the atmosphere, breaking obstacles before you arrive, and making crooked paths straight before your feet touch them. And urgently I remind you, the same hand that carried you through the storms of yesterday is the same hand that shapes the victories of your tomorrow. The same voice that spoke peace into your midnight will speak direction into your dawn. The same power that preserved you in the valley will empower you on the mountain. And because of this, you can release the anxiety about the future. You can silence the fear that tries to steal your peace. You can walk forward with expectation instead of dread. For I am not sending you into uncertainty. I am leading you into fulfillment. And urgently I need you to grasp this truth. The future is not something you need to fear. It is something I have already prepared. And soon you will step into days that look nothing like the ones behind you. Days filled with clarity. Days filled with provision. Days filled with new joy. Days where prayers long delayed burst forth into reality. Days where every step reveals my faithfulness in ways too great to deny. And urgently I tell you, even the surprises ahead that seem overwhelming will work in your favor. Even the changes that come suddenly will lead to increase. Even the shifts you do not understand will reveal my wisdom. For I do not lead you into confusion. I lead you into destiny. And as you walk forward you will find me in every place, opening every door, aligning every meeting, protecting every step. And urgently I say, do not allow yesterday's disappointments to dictate tomorrow's outlook, for the past has no authority over the days I am preparing. And the enemy who tried to use your memories to paralyze you will soon watch as you run freely into what I have written, unhindered, unafraid, unshaken, because you finally believe that I am already in your tomorrow. And urgently I tell you, child, your steps are ordered, your future is secure, and I am waiting in the days ahead to show you goodness greater than what you ever thought possible. The resistance you faced was not a sign of my absence but the clearest evidence of the destiny I placed upon you. And urgently I tell you, the battles that rose like giants were not random. They were drawn to the light of your calling, for the enemy never fights what carries no threat, and the very intensity of the warfare you endured revealed the greatness of the purpose written over your life. And though you wondered why the attacks seemed relentless, why the road seemed heavier for you than for others, I say now with urgency that it was because you were marked, chosen, sealed with a future too powerful to go unnoticed. And the adversary sought to stop you before you fully realized who you are. But every attempt has failed, for I turned each scheme into training, each assault into preparation, each wound into wisdom. And urgently I remind you, the pressure was not to destroy you but to announce you. The hardship was not to break you but to prove that my strength in you is greater than the opposition around you. And the trials you thought were setbacks were actually confirmations stamped from heaven, declaring that the oil upon your life was too costly to be ignored. And urgently I say, do not despise the resistance, for it has proven what you carry. It has revealed the authority you walk in. It has displayed the resilience of your spirit. And you will soon see that those very battles were the stage upon which I displayed my power through you. For without enemies there can be no victory. Without opposition there can be no overcoming. Without trials there can be no testimony. And urgently I declare, your testimony is rising even now, birthed out of the fiercest resistance, forged in the fire of affliction, strengthened by storms that tried to bury you. And it will shine as a beacon for others to see that what was meant to destroy has become the very thing that lifted you higher. And urgently I say, the attacks you endured were a signpost pointing to the assignment ahead. For the enemy always seeks to strike hardest at the place of greatest promise. And if you look closely, you will recognize that the very areas where you felt most attacked are the very areas I will use most powerfully. The very spaces where pain was deepest will be the very spaces where glory flows strongest. The very paths where resistance blocked you will be the very paths where favor overtakes you. And urgently I assure you, the opposition you faced is now losing its grip. Its voice is fading, its hold is breaking, because I have decreed that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. and the season of being constantly pressed is shifting into the season of being publicly lifted, where what tried to crush you will now testify of your strength, where what tried to silence you will amplify your voice, where what tried to bury you will serve as the soil for your rising, and urgently I call you, child, to step forward without hesitation, knowing that opposition was not a sign of failure but of value, not a sign of weakness but of strength, not a sign of abandonment but of chosenness, and you will never again look at resistance the same way, for you will see it as confirmation that you are walking in the direction of destiny, and urgently I remind you, the enemy's greatest efforts only proved my greater faithfulness, and now the evidence of your endurance will shine for all to see. I am tearing down the barriers that have stood in your way, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the walls that once seemed unbreakable are crumbling at my command. The gates that blocked your progress are swinging open. The chains that bound your steps are snapping under the weight of my authority. For nothing erected by man or by the enemy can stand against my decree. And I decree now that the path before you is cleared. The hindrances are removed. The delays are ended. And you will walk freely into what I have designed. And urgently I want you to understand this. Many of the obstacles you faced were not random. They were assignments sent to intimidate you into retreat. They were built to convince you that the promise was too far, the breakthrough too costly, the dream too impossible. But I allowed you to see them so you could also see how powerless they are before me. And now I am dismantling them one by one, so that you will know beyond doubt that your progress is not because of your effort, but because of my hand. And urgently I say, the walls of limitation that told you this far and no further are collapsing. The ceilings that confined you are shattering. The doors that locked you out are breaking open, and soon you will realize that nothing and no one can keep you from stepping fully into my will, for I am the God who split seas for my people, who made rivers in deserts, who leveled mountains for the sake of those I love, and urgently I remind you, I am doing the same for you now. I am making the impossible possible. I am straightening paths that twisted against you. I am removing voices that tried to block your way. I am silencing forces that rose to stand in front of you. And where there were once obstacles, there will now be clear passage. Where there was once resistance, there will now be ease. Where there was once struggle, there will now be victory. And urgently I tell you, do not hesitate when you see these walls falling. Do not wait in fear when the way opens. For the tearing down is not for you to stand and watch, but for you to move forward boldly. To walk into territory you thought you could never reach. To claim ground that once felt unreachable, to occupy places that once seemed closed. And urgently I declare, the tearing down is not only external but internal, for I am removing lies that kept you small, fears that held you back, doubts that caged your faith, and I am breaking them apart so that you walk in liberty of spirit as well as in freedom of circumstance. And as you rise into this freedom, people will see with their own eyes that what was once impossible is now reality. They will marvel that the walls that stood for years fell in a moment. They will wonder how doors locked for generations opened for you. They will ask what power could have broken such barriers, and you will testify, it was the Lord, for urgently I tell you, it is I who fight for you, I who clear the way, I who remove the obstacles, and I who bring you into a place of open doors, open skies, open favor, and open blessing, and urgently I remind you, child, there is no wall that can remain standing when I have decreed your freedom, and you will walk unhindered from this moment forward. The blessing that is approaching will not merely meet your necessities, but will spill over with abundance, and urgently I tell you, this outpouring is not ordinary. It is not measured by the limits of your expectation. It is pressed down, shaken together, and running over, because I am not a God of scarcity, but of overflow. And I desire for you to walk not in lack, but in sufficiency and more. For what I am releasing is designed to cover every hidden gap, to fill every empty vessel, to restore every dry place, and still remain so plentiful that it flows outward to touch others around you. And urgently I say, you will not live by scraps or survive by fragments, for I am seating you at a table prepared in the presence of all who doubted, and upon that table I am setting portions that cannot be consumed in one sitting, blessings that will not run out, provision that will not fade. For what I pour out is not temporary, but sustaining, and urgently I remind you, the increase is not just for your comfort, but for your calling. For I bless so you may bless, I pour into you so you may pour into others. I fill your cup so that it overflows and becomes a river, and those connected to you will drink from its streams. And urgently I tell you, no more living in cycles of just enough, no more wondering if tomorrow will hold what today lacks, no more surviving on pieces when I have promised fullness, for the season of shortage is closing, and the time of divine supply is opening before you. And soon you will look around and realize that where there was once emptiness, there is now surplus. Where there was once anxiety, there is now peace. Where there was once fear of not having enough, there is now confidence that my provision never fails. And urgently I say, do not hoard what I am releasing. Do not clutch it in fear as though it might disappear, for I am the source and I do not dry up. And as you release freely, you will find more returning. As you give generously, you will see greater measure poured back. As you extend your hand to others, you will discover that your storehouses only grow larger. And urgently I warn you, the enemy will attempt to whisper that this blessing is fleeting, that you must cling to it in panic, that you must guard it with selfishness. But I say, trust me, for I am not sending a trickle but a flood. I am not giving a portion, but a river, and what I provide cannot be stolen, cannot be diminished, cannot be cut off, for I am the God of more than enough. And urgently I declare, this abundance will silence the voice of fear. This increase will break the spirit of poverty. This overflow will prove that my hand is upon you, and others will see and know that it was not luck, not chance, not human effort, but divine supply, and they will be drawn to my goodness through your testimony. And urgently I tell you, prepare your heart to carry more, prepare your hands to hold more, prepare your spirit to release more. For what I am about to do will exceed your imagination and leave you with only one response: "Oh, that I, the Lord, have done it." I am writing your story, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the pages that once carried sorrow, rejection, and disappointment are being turned, and a new chapter begins where honor, fulfillment, and joy will overflow. For I do not leave you defined by yesterday's failures or limited by past wounds, but I take the pen in my hand and I author a testimony that silences the accusations of those who doubted you. And though they thought your ending was already written, I am declaring with urgency that I am the author and the finisher, and no one else has the authority to close your book. For what I am writing now will astonish even you, and urgently I say, the narrative others spoke over you is erased. The labels they placed upon you are removed. The limitations they wrote into your future are destroyed, and my words alone will remain. My decree alone will stand. My plan alone will prevail, and soon your life will shine as living proof that I can take the rejected stone and make it the cornerstone, that I can take the one overlooked and set them in places of visibility, that I can take the story dismissed by many and turn it into a song that nations will hear. And urgently I want you to grasp this truth. I am not merely editing your story. I am writing it completely, transforming the very places where shame once lived into platforms for glory, turning the very situations that were meant to break you into testimonies that will build others. And where once you were silenced, I am now amplifying your voice. Where once you were hidden, I am now placing you in light. Where once you were counted last, I am now calling you first. And urgently I declare, every place where you felt misused, misunderstood, or misjudged will become the very place where my vindication rises. For I am lifting you above the noise of accusation and setting you in a position where no voice can deny what I have done. And urgently I urge you, do not cling to the old pages. Do not read the chapters that wounded you, for I have already turned the page. I have already begun the new, and if you will trust me, you will step into a story so radiant that it will silence every whisper of shame, so powerful that it will heal even the memories of the past, so undeniable that those who doubted you will be forced to acknowledge my hand. And urgently I remind you, the power of your story is not in how it began but in how I finish it, and I am finishing it with glory. I am finishing it with blessing. I am finishing it with victory. And soon you will see that the end of one painful season was only the beginning of a miraculous rewrite. And urgently I tell you, child, walk boldly into the pages I am unfolding, for your life will no longer be remembered for what you lost, but for what I restored. No longer for where you fell, but for where I lifted you. No longer for how you were doubted, but for how I exalted you. And every chapter ahead will testify, this story belongs to the Lord. My timing is about to reveal why the waiting was necessary for your protection. And urgently I tell you, child, every delay that caused you frustration was not denial but preservation. For had you received what you longed for too soon, it would have harmed you, drained you, or collapsed under its own weight. But I, in my wisdom, shielded you from outcomes you could not see, and while you questioned whether I was listening, I was actively guarding you from dangers hidden beneath opportunities that looked appealing. And urgently I want you to understand this. I am not cruel to withhold. I am kind to protect. I am not absent in the waiting. I am deeply present, ranging unseen defenses, routing your steps away from traps that would have ensnared you. And though you felt denied, you were actually preserved. Though you felt overlooked, you were actually hidden under my wings. Though you felt late, you were right on schedule with the rhythm of heaven. And urgently I declare, the moment you step into now will uncover the wisdom behind every pause. You will see clearly why I closed certain doors, why I ended certain connections, why I rerouted your path, and you will thank me for not giving you what you begged for, because what you desired then was smaller than what I intended, and what you thought was perfect timing would have crushed you. But my timing will now prove to be flawless, for it brings not only the blessing but the capacity to hold it, not only the opportunity but the strength to sustain it, not only the miracle but the wisdom to steward it well. And urgently I remind you, the waiting has been your shield, the silence has been your shelter, the hiddenness has been your safety, and now that I bring you forward, you will rise without the baggage that would have weighed you down, without the wounds that would have weakened you, without the distractions that would have stolen from you, for I have removed them in the waiting, and urgently I call you to trust what I am doing, for you are stepping into a fullness that could not have arrived any earlier. And when you see the magnitude of what I release, you will understand that I was never late, I was never slow, I was never indifferent. I was always aligning the pieces so that nothing could be missing when the moment came. And urgently I tell you, this unveiling of timing will silence your doubts. It will heal the wounds of delay. It will shift the way you see every season. And you will walk with a new confidence, knowing that I am never careless with your future, never reckless with your path, never inattentive to your cries, but always intentional, always precise, always perfect. And urgently I declare, the time has come, the season has shifted, the covering has accomplished its purpose, and now you will move into blessing released at the exact moment it was safest and strongest for you. And you will testify that my timing was not only right, it was perfect. The chapter you are leaving behind cannot contain the wonders I am about to release. And urgently I tell you, child, what is ahead is far too great to fit within the pages of yesterday, for the old season has served its purpose, and now it must close so that the new can fully unfold. And while you may feel a pull to hold on to what is familiar, I urge you with urgency to release your grip, for familiarity can become a prison when I am calling you higher, and the chapter that is ending was never meant to carry the weight of your future. It was only the ground upon which I prepared you for greater things. And urgently I say, do not weep over what I am closing. Do not mourn the spaces I am asking you to leave, for the glory that awaits in the next part of your journey will make you forget the pain of departure, just as morning light makes night fade into memory. And urgently I tell you, I am not erasing the past. I am fulfilling it. I am not discarding what was. I am completing it. And I am turning the page so that you will not remain trapped in cycles that cannot sustain the magnitude of what I am about to pour out. For the former season was too small for the dreams I have planted, too narrow for the blessings I have prepared, too limited for the vision I am expanding. And urgently I declare, it is time to step beyond the borders of yesterday and walk into the wide open fields of tomorrow, where the harvest is waiting, where the promises are ready, where the doors are already open. And though the chapter behind you carried tears, disappointment, and delay, the chapter before you will carry laughter, fulfillment, and sudden breakthroughs. And urgently I remind you, you cannot cling to ashes while I am offering beauty. You cannot hold on to what has ended while I am breathing life into what is beginning. You cannot remain in mourning while I am clothing you in garments of praise. For I am not leading you backward. I am moving you forward. And urgently I tell you, even the things that felt wasted in the last season will be redeemed in the new. Even the opportunities you thought were gone will return in greater form. Even the time you thought was lost will be repaid with acceleration, and you will stand in awe that the pain of yesterday was only the soil for the fruit of today. And urgently I say, let go of the fear that stepping forward means losing what you love. For what is true and from me will follow you into the new season. But what was never meant to remain must stay behind. And though it feels painful to release, it is necessary. For you cannot step into the greater carrying what belongs to the lesser. And urgently I promise you this. The new chapter will not disappoint. It will not be empty. It will not lack. For I have written it with my own hand, filled it with my own blessings, and sealed it with my own spirit. And when you walk in it, you will see that every ending was really a beginning in disguise. And urgently I remind you again, child, do not cling to the chapter that cannot hold your future, for what lies ahead is far greater than what you are leaving behind. Do not cling to what I am removing, my child, for urgently I tell you, the things I take from your hands are not punishment but preparation, for I cannot pour new wine into old wineskins, and I cannot release greater blessings into hands still clutching what has expired. And though it feels painful to let go of what you once treasured, I am calling you to trust that what I remove is no longer able to carry you where I am leading, and urgently I remind you, I never strip away to leave you empty. I only clear space so that fullness can come. I never uproot to leave barren ground. I only prepare the soil for something more fruitful to grow, and I never close your hand around loss without intending to open it again around increase. And urgently I say, release the relationships that drain, release the opportunities that distract, release the positions that no longer align with my will, release the habits that hinder, release the fears that weigh you down. For they cannot travel with you into the season I have prepared, and though your heart grieves their absence, you will soon see that my removal was mercy in disguise, that my pruning was kindness, that my stripping was protection. For I know what lies ahead, and I know what would keep you from it if I allowed it to remain. And urgently I tell you, every time I take, it is to give more. Every time I close, it is to open wider. Every time I end, it is to begin something greater. And the sooner you release, the sooner I can fill, the sooner you yield, the sooner I can bless, the sooner you surrender, the sooner I can complete the work. And urgently I declare, do not fight me when I pull things away, for resistance will only prolong your waiting, but trust me, for obedience will accelerate your rising. And though you may not understand in the moment why I allow certain things to leave, you will one day look back and thank me that I protected you from what you thought you needed. And urgently I say, let go with open hands, for open hands are ready to receive, and I am ready to pour into you what cannot be measured, what cannot be denied, what cannot be contained. And you will testify that the things you thought were losses were actually exchanges. The things you thought were endings were actually beginnings. The things you thought were broken pieces were actually being reshaped into something stronger, more beautiful, more purposeful. And urgently I remind you again, I am not taking from you to wound you. I am taking from you to heal you. I am not stripping to shame. I am stripping to strengthen. I am not pruning to punish. I am pruning to multiply, and what feels like loss today will be revealed as gain tomorrow. So trust me, child, even when it hurts, for I know what I am doing, and you will soon see that every removal is making room for greater glory. The people who walked away from you were not losses, my beloved, but part of my pruning, and urgently I tell you, their departure was not abandonment, but alignment. For I will never allow voices that cannot honor your destiny to remain tied to your journey. And though their leaving pierced you deeply, I assure you it was necessary for the protection of your calling. For not every person can walk with you where I am leading, not every heart can handle the weight of your purpose, not every companion can stand in the light of your rising, and urgently I say, I allowed some to step away so you could discover that your strength is not anchored in people but in me. Your confidence is not built on their approval but on my word. Your future is not sustained by their loyalty but by my faithfulness. And though you cried wondering why they left, you will one day rejoice that I removed them before they could limit you, betray you, or silence you. And urgently I remind you, their absence has created space for those who will truly support, those who will truly walk in truth, those who will not be intimidated by your growth but will celebrate it, those who will not compete with your anointing but will complement it. and those who will not drain your spirit, but will strengthen it, and urgently I declare, you have not been abandoned. You have been preserved. You have not been rejected. You have been redirected. You have not been discarded. You have been refined. And every person who was meant to stay has remained, and every person who was meant to go has been removed. For I know the motives of every heart, and I will not allow hidden deceit to entangle you, nor secret envy to poison you, nor silent disloyalty to weaken you. And urgently I urge you, do not mourn those who left. Do not chase after what I have released. Do not attempt to rebuild what I myself have torn down, for if you return to what I removed, you will only carry unnecessary weight into the new places I am opening. And urgently I promise you, I will surround you with covenant people, not convenience people, with those who sharpen you, not those who drain you, with those who pray for you, not those who plot against you, with those who honor your journey, not those who mock it. And when they come, you will understand why the others had to leave. And urgently I remind you, separation is never easy. Pruning always cuts deep. But without pruning there is no fruit. Without separation there is no multiplication. And what you see as subtraction is actually preparation for increase. And very soon, you will witness the fruit of this pruning season. For I am bringing forth abundance through the very branches you thought were broken. And you will see clearly that I never took anyone from you without intending to replace them with something greater. Greater love, greater support, greater alignment, greater truth. And urgently I say, lift your head, dry your tears, for you have not been left empty. You have been made ready, and what is coming will prove that the pruning was never about loss. It was always about growth. I am aligning divine connections for you, my beloved. And urgently I tell you, these are not ordinary relationships, but purposeful assignments sent from heaven to walk beside you, to lift you when you grow weary, to sharpen you when you are dull, to cover you when you are vulnerable, and to rejoice with you when my favor manifests. For I never intended for you to journey alone, but I also never intended for you to be entangled with the wrong companions, and so I have allowed seasons of separation so that the ones I send now will be true, pure, and tested. And urgently I say, the people entering your life in this new season will carry hearts that reflect mine, hands that will not drop you when storms arise, voices that will not waver when lies are spoken against you, and spirits that will not compete with you but will complement what I am building through you. And urgently I remind you, covenant connections are forged in prayer, not in convenience. They are sealed in spirit, not in appearance. They are rooted in truth, not in manipulation. And the ones I am aligning for you will stand firm even when the ground shakes. They will believe in the calling I placed on you even when you doubt yourself. They will intercede for you when you have no words left to pray. They will hold your arms up when the weight of the battle grows heavy. And urgently I tell you, this alignment is strategic, for you are stepping into assignments too great to carry alone, and the company you keep will either lift you higher or weigh you down. And so I am weaving together a circle of strength, a family of faith, a tribe of destiny partners who will push you forward, not pull you back. And urgently I urge you, discern carefully who I send. For not every voice is meant to have access to your heart. Not every hand is meant to hold your vision. Not every ear is meant to hear your secrets. But I will show you by my Spirit who carries truth and who carries disguise, and you will know them by their fruit. You will know them by the peace you feel in their presence. You will know them by the way your spirit leaps when they speak. And urgently I declare, as I align these divine connections, doors will open that no man can shut. Opportunities will arise that no one can explain, and victories will manifest that no one can take credit for. For I will use these alignments to accelerate what I am doing in your life. And urgently I remind you, the right voices will silence confusion. The right hands will guard your back. The right companions will multiply your strength. And where 2 or 3 gather in my name, I am there in the midst. And as I bring these alignments, you will feel the weight of isolation lift. You will sense the burden of loneliness break, and you will step into a new strength, knowing that I have placed people around you not to hinder but to help, not to compete but to complete. And urgently I say, be ready, for they are coming quickly. And when they come, you will know they were sent by me, for their presence will bring clarity, peace, and confirmation that I have heard your prayers for companionship. and I am answering now with divine connections that will carry you into the fullness of your destiny. The tables are turning in your favor, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the places where you were overlooked will soon be the very places where you are honored, for I am shifting the balance, reversing the order, and bringing you from the back to the front, from the margins to the center, from being dismissed to being chosen. And though you spent seasons feeling invisible, unnoticed, and forgotten, I have been watching closely, and I have prepared this moment so that your rising will not be by human hands but by my decree. And urgently I say, do not think this turning is small. It is dramatic. It is undeniable. It is sudden. For I am the God who lifts the humble and brings low the proud, and I am exalting you not for your own glory but so the world may see that I defend my children, that I reward faithfulness, that I do not forget the ones who trust me in secret. And urgently I declare, those who laughed at your struggles will witness your triumphs. Those who mocked your faith will watch your testimony unfold. Those who tried to silence you will hear your voice amplified, and they will know it was I who turned the tables. And urgently I tell you, do not harbor bitterness toward them, for I am not raising you to shame others but to prove that my justice is sure, my timing is perfect, and my vindication is complete, and the lifting I bring will be so evident that no one will be able to deny it. No one will be able to take credit for it. No one will be able to reverse it, for it will be clear that it was not man's doing but the hand of the Lord. And urgently I say, you will step into rooms where once you were not welcome. You will sit at tables where once you were denied a seat. You will walk into opportunities that once seemed far beyond your reach, and it will all happen swiftly, without warning, without effort on your part, because I myself am opening the way. I myself am setting you before kings and leaders. I myself am establishing your place in higher ground. And urgently I remind you, the tables are not turning to make you proud but to make you fruitful, for the positions I give you are for influence, for impact, for the advancement of my kingdom, and I will trust you with them because you learned in the wilderness how to remain humble, how to depend on me, how to walk faithfully when no one was watching. And urgently I tell you, what is coming will overwhelm you with joy, but it will also carry weight, responsibility, and purpose. For I am not just lifting you for your sake. I am lifting you so that through you many others will be lifted, many others will be healed, many others will be set free. And urgently I say, prepare yourself, for the shift is already in motion, the tables are already turning, the tide is already changing, and soon you will stand in places you never thought possible, testifying with boldness that the God who saw you in the low place has raised you into the high place, and that his faithfulness has no end. Hidden treasures that have been delayed are being released into your hands, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, what was concealed in the unseen is now being uncovered in the open, for I have stored up blessings, wisdom, opportunities, and resources for an appointed time, and that time is now. You thought some of your labor was forgotten, that the seeds you planted in tears had disappeared into the soil of yesterday. But I assure you they have been growing beneath the surface, and suddenly they will spring forth as harvest you never imagined. Urgently I say, these treasures are not limited to material wealth, though I will provide what you need in abundance. These treasures are also divine insights, supernatural strategies, creative ideas, and connections that will unlock doors you could never force open on your own. I hid them from the enemy so they could not be stolen. I kept them out of reach until your spirit was ready to carry them, and now I am placing them into your life as gifts that cannot be denied. You wondered why others seemed to advance while you remained waiting, why blessings passed you by while you stood with empty hands. But urgently I tell you, I was not withholding to punish you but preserving to protect you, for if treasures are given before the heart is steady, they can become snares instead of blessings. Now, because you have been refined, because you have endured, because you have remained, I can trust you with what I am about to release. Urgently I remind you, these treasures will not only provide for you, but also for those connected to you. They are generational, they are expansive, they are overflowing. They will touch your household, your community, even strangers who will be blessed by the overflow of what I pour into your life. And urgently I say, these treasures will not simply be possessions, they will be keys. Keys that unlock new assignments, keys that open opportunities, keys that establish influence for my kingdom. What was hidden will now become visible, and you will walk into seasons where sudden revelation brings clarity to decisions you've wrestled with, where unexpected provision arrives just when the need arises, where connections appear that shift everything overnight. These are treasures of timing, treasures of alignment, treasures of destiny, and I am releasing them into your hands so that you will know beyond any doubt that I alone am your source. Do not fear when I pour out more than you expected, for urgently I tell you, this is not a trickle but an overflow. Do not shrink back thinking you are unworthy, for I have already made you worthy through my sacrifice. Do not doubt the reality of what I release, for you will see it manifest in undeniable ways, and it will silence every question in your heart. Urgently I remind you, child, what I place into your hands now cannot be taken, for I have hidden it until this exact moment, and now I am unveiling it to prove my faithfulness. The treasures will come in forms you recognize and in forms that surprise you, but all of them will carry my fingerprint, and all of them will draw you closer to me. And urgently I declare, as I release these treasures, gratitude must flow from your heart like a river, for thankfulness will guard you from pride and anchor you in humility, ensuring that the blessings I give you are multiplied rather than diminished. Share freely, bless generously, release boldly, for the more you pour out, the more I will continue to pour in. You will never lack as long as you keep your eyes on me, for I am the one who hid these treasures and I am the one who now reveals them, and what I reveal cannot be undone. You feared you missed your moment, my beloved, but urgently I tell you, nothing I have designed for you can slip away, nothing I have written in my plan can be stolen, nothing I have prepared for you can be lost, for I am the keeper of times and seasons, and what belongs to you by my decree will reach you in its appointed hour. While you looked at others moving forward and thought the opportunity had passed you by, I was simply arranging the timing so that when it came, you would be fully ready, fully equipped, fully able to steward what I place into your hands. Urgently I remind you, your story is not late, your journey is not behind, and your destiny has not been delayed beyond repair. It is right on schedule with heaven's calendar. You compared your path to others and believed their acceleration meant your promise was fading, but urgently I say, comparison is a thief, for their pace is not your pace, their path is not your path, and their timing is not your timing. What I have chosen for you is unique, specific, and carefully tailored for your life, and you will see that while it seemed slow, it was actually steady. While it seemed delayed, it was actually preserved. While it seemed denied, it was actually protected. Urgently I declare, no mistake has disqualified you, no misstep has canceled my plan, no failure has erased my design, for I use even your missteps to redirect you, even your failures to refine you, even your delays to prepare you, and nothing is wasted in my hands. You have asked in silence, Lord, did I miss it? Did I lose my chance? And urgently I answer you now, no, you have not. The moment you thought was lost is returning in a greater form. The chance you thought had passed is reappearing with more weight, more favor, more certainty, because I am the God of restoration, and I redeem not only what was stolen but what was surrendered in fear. You will soon see opportunities rise before you that align perfectly with your calling, and you will know they are from me because they will not bring confusion. They will not stir anxiety. They will not drain your soul, but they will carry peace, clarity, and confirmation. And urgently I say, stop rehearsing the what-ifs of the past. Stop mourning the roads you think you should have taken. Stop grieving the seasons you think you lost, for I am not bound to the timelines of men. I redeem time itself. I can cause years of loss to be repaid in a moment. I can cause wasted seasons to produce fruit in an instant. I can cause missed doors to reopen in ways you never thought possible. Urgently I remind you, I am the God who restores the years, and I am doing that for you now. So lift your head, my child, for you have not missed your moment. You are walking into it. The things you thought were gone forever are circling back with greater strength. The doors you thought were closed forever are unlocking again. The dreams you thought had died are stirring to life, and the assignments you thought had been given to another are still waiting for you, untouched, preserve, guarded until you were ready. Urgently I tell you, nothing I have ordained for you will ever pass you by, for what I decree must come to pass, and my word over your life cannot return void. What you lost across the years is not gone forever, my beloved. For urgently I tell you, I am the Redeemer of time, and I am restoring what seemed irretrievable, multiplying what seemed wasted, and reviving what seemed beyond hope. The seasons you thought slipped through your grasp, the opportunities you mourned, the relationships you believed were beyond repair, I hold all of them in my hands, and I am breathing life into what was buried, returning to you more than what you thought was gone. Urgently I say, I do not simply give back what was taken. I give back with increase. I repay with overflow. I restore in such a way that the ending is far greater than the beginning, and the grief of what you lost will be swallowed up by the joy of what I return. You thought the years of struggle were wasted years, but urgently I remind you, nothing surrendered to me is ever wasted, for I turn ashes into beauty, mourning into dancing, barrenness into abundance. What looked like lost time has been hidden seed, and now those seeds will break forth with a suddenness that will surprise you. What took others decades to accomplish will come to you in accelerated moments, because I am making up for the years the locusts devoured. I am redeeming the nights you wept. I am restoring the strength you thought would never return. Urgently I declare, you will not exit this season empty-handed. You will exit with more than you carried in, and the weight of blessing will silence the sting of what was taken. Do not mourn what was removed, for urgently I say, I will replace it with something greater. The relationships you thought had left you barren of love will be answered with connections rich in truth, loyalty, and purpose. The finances you thought would never recover will be repaid in abundance that sustains and multiplies. The time you thought you wasted wandering will be redeemed as clarity, acceleration, and supernatural advancement. Urgently I tell you, I have kept track of every loss. I have counted every cost, and I am not only restoring but multiplying beyond measure, so that you will stand in awe, unable to contain the joy of what I bring forth. And urgently I remind you, this restoration is not only for your sake, it is for generations. The inheritance you thought was lost for your family will be returned. The promises you thought had skipped your household will be fulfilled. The blessings that seemed delayed will fall not only on you, but on your children and your children's children. For I am the God who restores across bloodlines, across time, across generations, and what I release will ripple beyond your years into those yet to come. So urgently I say, stand ready, for my restoration will come suddenly, without warning, in unexpected ways. A door you thought closed will open with favor. A resource you thought depleted will flow again. A dream you thought long dead will rise with breath and strength. And when it happens, you will understand that I was never late, never absent, never unmindful of your loss. I was preparing the return so that when it arrived, it would leave no doubt that it was my hand. Urgently I tell you, child, what you lost in years, I will restore in moments, and the testimony will be greater than the pain, for I am the Lord who restores all. I am releasing clarity where there has been confusion, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the fog that clouded your vision, the uncertainty that left you paralyzed, the questions that weighed heavily on your heart, all of it is lifting now, for I am not a God of disorder but of peace, not a God of chaos but of direction, and I am speaking with precision into your spirit so that you will know the way to walk. Urgently I say, the distractions that swirled around you, the voices that contradicted one another, the lies that tried to distort my will, I am silencing them one by one, leaving only the steady sound of my voice. You have wondered, Lord, what is your plan for me? Which way should I go? And I answer with urgency, you will no longer walk in guesswork but in guidance, no longer stumble in uncertainty but step with assurance, for I am placing light on your path that will not flicker or fade. Do not fear making the wrong choice, for urgently I remind you, when you remain surrendered to me, I will redirect your steps even if you veer to the side. I will realign you even if you drift. I will not allow you to wander out of my plan, because I am more committed to your destiny than you are. The clarity I release now will not come in faint whispers alone, but in confirmations that repeat, in signs that align, in peace that will anchor you even when the path looks unfamiliar. Urgently I tell you, you will know it is me because confusion will break, because fear will lose its grip, because your heart will sense the weight of my presence confirming, this is the way, walk in it. And urgently I say, this clarity will not only come for your personal path, but also for decisions concerning your household, your work, your relationships, your assignments. Where there has been indecision, I will give direction. Where there has been delay, I will give momentum. Where there has been tension, I will give resolution. Urgently I remind you, I am not leaving you to wander through a maze. I am giving you a map, and that map is my spirit within you, guiding, instructing, teaching, and reminding you of all truth. You will soon look back and realize that what felt like uncertainty was actually training to recognize my voice above all others. Urgently I declare, the noise around you will no longer drown out my words, the confusion within you will no longer paralyze your steps, and the enemy will no longer use doubt to chain your progress. I am sharpening your discernment, increasing your spiritual hearing, and opening your eyes to see beyond the surface so that deception cannot mislead you. Urgently I tell you, you will not fall into traps set by men. You will not be ensnared by schemes hidden in shadows, for my clarity will expose every lie and reveal every truth. And urgently I remind you, this clarity is not only for you to walk in but also for you to impart. You will speak words of wisdom that break confusion in others. You will carry answers where others only see problems. You will release peace where others are paralyzed by fear. I am turning you into a vessel of clarity, and those who encounter you will find direction because my spirit is flowing through you. Urgently I say, prepare yourself, for the cloud is lifting, the path is clearing, and you will step forward with confidence you have never known before, because you will finally see as I see, hear as I speak, and walk as I lead. I am awakening boldness within you, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the timidity that once held you back, the hesitation that kept you silent, the fear that chained your steps, all of it is being broken off now, for I did not create you to shrink in the face of opposition, but to rise in the strength of my spirit. Urgently I say, I am pouring courage into your bones, fire into your words, and determination into your heart, so that you will not be intimidated by the threats of darkness nor silenced by the doubts of men. Where once you second-guessed yourself, you will now stand assured. Where once you stayed quiet, you will now declare truth with power. Where once you avoided the battle, you will now charge forward knowing that victory is guaranteed because I go before you. You have underestimated what I placed within you, but urgently I remind you, I have not filled you with a spirit of fear but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. The boldness I awaken is not arrogance, it is confidence rooted in me, a holy courage that refuses to bow to lies, a fearless strength that does not tremble in the storm. Urgently I declare, you will not hide anymore, you will not retreat anymore, you will not live small when I have called you to carry greatness. I am awakening the lion within you, I am stirring the warrior inside of you, I am fanning into flame every gift that has been buried under hesitation, and soon you will act with a certainty that surprises even you. And urgently I say, this boldness is not for yourself alone but for the sake of others. You will speak words that break chains for those still bound. You will confront injustices that others were too afraid to touch. You will walk into spaces where silence ruled and release truth that cannot be denied. This is why the enemy worked so hard to keep you timid, because he feared the sound of your voice once it was aligned with my spirit. He feared the authority of your steps once you walked without fear. He feared the breakthrough that would flow through your obedience once you rose without hesitation. But urgently I tell you, those days of shrinking back are over. This boldness will manifest not only in your words but in your decisions. You will take risks you once avoided. You will step into assignments that once overwhelmed you. You will say yes to doors that once terrified you, because you will know that I am backing you, empowering you, and fighting for you. Urgently I remind you, boldness is not the absence of fear, It is the refusal to be ruled by it. And you will walk in that truth, that courage is not something you muster up. It is something I awaken in you, something that flows from my spirit alive within you. And urgently I declare, as you walk in boldness, miracles will follow. Healings will manifest when you lay hands without hesitation. Breakthrough will come when you pray without fear of failure. Atmospheres will shift when you speak with confidence in my name. This boldness will make room for my power to display itself in ways you have not yet seen, because faith that refuses to be silent attracts heaven's response. Urgently I say, child, rise in courage, for you were not made to cower, you were made to conquer. And I am awakening within you the boldness that will change not only your life, but the lives of many who encounter me through you. I am training your hands for victory, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the battles that once seemed to overwhelm you will now become platforms for your triumph. For I have been equipping you in secret, teaching you strength in the unseen, and now you will see how prepared you truly are. Urgently I say, you thought the warfare was meant to break you, but it was forging endurance. You thought the storms were meant to drown you, but they were teaching you to walk on waves. You thought the opposition was meant to silence you, but it was sharpening your voice. Every struggle has been a lesson. Every hardship has been a training ground. And now you will use what you learned to overcome with power and authority. Do not think of yourself as weak, for urgently I remind you, I have placed weapons in your hands that cannot fail. The weapon of prayer that shifts unseen realms, the weapon of praise that breaks chains, the weapon of my word that pierces through lies and dismantles darkness. You are not defenseless, you are not unprepared, you are not at the mercy of the enemy's schemes. You are fully armed, fully equipped, fully ready. Urgently I declare, I have made you a warrior, not by your own strength but by mine, and when you lift your voice in faith, when you take your stand in truth, when you move forward in obedience, you will see walls crumble, giants fall, and victories unfold. And urgently I say, the victories I am bringing you into are not small skirmishes but decisive battles, breakthroughs that change the course of your journey, victories that shift atmospheres for generations after you. This is why the warfare has been so fierce, because the outcome is not just about you. It is about those who will be freed because of your obedience, those who will be healed because of your persistence, those who will rise because you refuse to fall. Urgently I remind you, when David stood against Goliath, it was not only his victory, it was the deliverance of an entire nation. And the battles you face carry the same weight, for what you conquer will liberate others. Do not shrink from the fight, for urgently I say, I go before you as commander, I surround you as shield, I cover you as refuge, and I fight through you as strength. The battle is not yours alone. It is mine, and I have already secured the outcome. Urgently I tell you, lift your eyes above the enemy's intimidation, for his roar is loud but his power is broken. His threats are fierce but his grip is weak, and soon you will see that what terrified you is smaller than you imagined, for in my presence all opposition crumbles. And urgently I declare, the season of endless defeat is over. You are stepping into a season of sustained victory. You will not win one battle and lose the next. You will rise from glory to glory, from strength to strength, from triumph to triumph, for I am establishing you as more than a conqueror. This victory will not fade. It will multiply. This victory will not be fleeting. It will be lasting. And urgently I remind you, every scar from the battles past will now shine as proof of your endurance. Every tear shed in the night will become a testimony in the day, and every step you take will echo with the sound of a warrior who has overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of testimony. So urgently I say, take courage, child, for I have trained you for this. I have equipped you for this. I have ordained you for this. You will not fall in defeat. You will stand in triumph, for your hands are strengthened, your heart is fortified, and your spirit is unshakable. And the victory I am giving you now will mark the rest of your journey with undeniable proof that I am with you always. I am stirring the fire within you again, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the embers that once seemed to fade, the passion you thought had dimmed, the zeal you felt slipping away, I am breathing upon it now, and it will blaze brighter than before. Urgently I say, you will not walk weary through this next season, for I am infusing you with renewed strength, fresh vision, and unstoppable energy that will carry you further than you imagine. What once felt heavy will now feel light. What once drained you will now empower you. What once discouraged you will now fuel your drive, because I am igniting a flame that cannot be quenched by trials, storms, or opposition. Do not think your best days of passion are behind you, for urgently I remind you, I am the God who renews, the one who restores youth like the eagles, the one who revives what seemed dormant. You thought you had seen your greatest moments of hunger and fire, but I tell you now, they were only a glimpse, for I am kindling a greater flame within you, one that will not flicker with time, one that will not be stolen by distractions, one that will not bow to weariness. Urgently I declare, this fire will consume doubt, this fire will burn away complacency, this fire will push you into bold action, and it will radiate through you so that others are set ablaze by the heat of my Spirit upon your life. And urgently I say, the fire I place within you is not merely for personal passion, but for divine purpose. It will give you endurance in the face of obstacles, persistence when others would quit, joy in the midst of labor, and strength in the middle of resistance. This fire will give you vision when darkness surrounds you, clarity when confusion attacks you, and courage when fear rises against you. Urgently I remind you, this is not a natural fire, it is a supernatural one, and no water of opposition can extinguish it. No wind of adversity can snuff it out, for it is sustained by my breath, and I will continue to breathe upon it every day. You wondered why you felt drained, why your passion seemed dim, why your hunger seemed inconsistent. But urgently I tell you, I allowed you to feel the emptiness so that you would recognize your need for my fire, for human effort alone cannot sustain zeal, human will cannot sustain devotion, human passion cannot sustain endurance. Only my Spirit can keep the flame burning, and now I am pouring oil upon you, fresh oil that causes the fire to rise higher, brighter, stronger. Urgently I say, this flame will light up your household. It will transform your workplace. It will shift the atmosphere of every place your feet step into, because I do not set you on fire for you to remain hidden. I set you ablaze so that you shine in the darkness and release my presence wherever you go. And urgently I declare, this fire will draw others to me through you. They will see your joy and hunger, and it will awaken their own. They will feel your passion, and it will stir their spirits. They will witness your devotion, and it will challenge their complacency. This is why the enemy fought so hard to dim your flame, because he feared the wildfire that would spread once you were ignited again. But urgently I tell you, it is too late for him now, for I have breathed upon the coals. I have set the flame ablaze, and nothing will put it out. So urgently I say, rise in this fire, walk in it, let it fuel every word you speak, every step you take, every act of obedience you carry out. For I have set you ablaze with purpose, and this flame will not only mark your life, but will leave a trail of transformation wherever you go. I am expanding your territory, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the limits that once confined you are breaking, the boundaries that once restricted you are widening, the ceilings that once pressed you down are shattering, for I am enlarging the space in which you will walk. Urgently I say, no longer will you be contained by the opinions of others, no longer will you be trapped by the failures of your past, no longer will you be boxed in by fear or self-doubt, for I am stretching your borders to make room for the fullness of what I am releasing. The small spaces you once occupied cannot carry the weight of what I am pouring out, and so I must expand you, increase you, and position you in places you never imagined you would enter. You thought your influence would remain limited, your reach would remain small, your opportunities would remain few, but urgently I remind you, I am the God who multiplies, the one who takes the little and makes it much, the one who turns obscurity into visibility. Urgently I declare, I am expanding your voice so it reaches further, I am expanding your steps so they travel farther, I am expanding your impact so it touches nations, and though it may feel uncomfortable to stretch, it is necessary for where I am leading you. Do not resist the expansion, for it is not to break you but to prepare you for the abundance that is coming. And urgently I say, as I enlarge your territory, I am also enlarging your capacity. Your heart will grow to carry more love. Your mind will grow to hold more wisdom. Your spirit will grow to handle more responsibility. I will strengthen your shoulders to bear the weight of greater assignments. I will deepen your roots so the winds of visibility cannot uproot you. I will sharpen your vision so the vastness of new horizons does not overwhelm you. Urgently, I remind you, expansion requires preparation, and the stretching you feel now is not punishment but training, so that when I place you in greater spaces, you will not crumble but flourish. Do not fear the unknown ground, for urgently I tell you, I go before you to prepare it. I walk beside you to guide you. I remain behind you to cover you. You will not be unprotected as I enlarge your borders. My hand is upon every step. My favor goes before every move. My spirit fills every space I place you in. Urgently I say, where once doors were few, now they will be many. Where once opportunities were scarce, now they will be plentiful. Where once your voice was confined, now it will echo. And the expansion will not just be for you, but through you. For I will use you to build, to plant, to sow, to release increase into others, and they too will rise as I enlarge their ground through your obedience. And urgently I declare, this expansion will silence the lies that said you would always remain small. It will dismantle the chains that said you would never go further. It will prove wrong every voice that doubted your growth. For I am the one who enlarges borders, and what I expand, no one can shrink. What I increase, no one can reduce. What I stretch, no one can compress. Urgently I tell you, child, do not be afraid of the new ground beneath your feet. Step boldly into it, for I am giving you this land, and everywhere your foot touches will be marked by my presence, blessed by my hand, and established for my glory. I am releasing acceleration into your life, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, what once took years will now unfold in months. What once seemed impossible in decades will now happen in days, for I am compressing time for the sake of my purpose within you. Urgently I say, you have endured seasons of slow progress, seasons where every step forward felt resisted, where momentum seemed constantly stolen, where advancement was delayed again and again. But now you will witness sudden shifts, quick turnarounds, rapid breakthroughs that testify of my hand moving beyond human strength. The pace of this next season will not look like what you have known before, for I am accelerating my work within you so that my will is accomplished on time. Do not be afraid of the speed, for urgently I remind you, you are not running in your own strength. I am carrying you, propelling you, and sustaining you. Where you once crawled, you will now soar. Where you once labored without result, you will now reap with overflow. Where you once waited in long silence, you will now hear the sound of doors opening one after another. Urgently I declare, you will step into opportunities that appear suddenly. You will encounter divine connections without striving. You will see resources flow without delay, because I am aligning everything swiftly. And urgently I say, acceleration is not chaos. It is alignment. I am not rushing you into confusion. I am bringing you into perfect timing, where everything converges at once. The dreams I planted long ago, the prayers you have carried for years, the promises spoken over you, they are colliding now in a moment of divine speed. Urgently I remind you, just as Joseph moved from the prison to the palace in a single day, so I will shift your position in ways that astonish those around you. One moment you felt overlooked, the next you will be exalted. One moment you felt forgotten, the next you will be celebrated. One moment you felt bound, the next you will be free. Do not cling to the rhythm of yesterday, for urgently I tell you, you must be ready to move when I move, to act when I speak, to step through the doors I open. Hesitation will cause you to miss what I am releasing, but obedience will keep you in step with my acceleration. Urgently I say, let go of fear that says, it's too fast. I cannot handle this. For I would not accelerate you if I had not already strengthened you. I would not speed the pace if you were not able to sustain it. I would not bring swift increase if I had not already stretched your capacity to hold it. And urgently I declare, this acceleration will redeem the years you thought were wasted. It will recover the time you thought was lost. It will restore the seasons you thought had passed you by. I am not only moving you forward quickly, I am redeeming everything behind you that seemed broken, delayed, or wasted. Urgently I remind you, acceleration is a gift of my mercy, a sign of my sovereignty, and a demonstration of my power to do in moments what human effort could not accomplish in years. So urgently I say, prepare yourself, my child, for what is coming will happen quickly. The shift will be sudden, the promotion will be unexpected, the breakthrough will be undeniable. Do not resist the pace, but embrace it with joy, for this acceleration is the evidence that I am fulfilling every word I spoke over you. I am dismantling the chains that have held you, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the restrictions that bound your spirit, the cycles that kept repeating, the strongholds that seemed unbreakable, they are being shattered even now by the power of my name. Urgently I say, the grip of fear that silenced your courage, the weight of shame that pressed on your heart, the lies that whispered you were unworthy, I am breaking them completely, never to hold you again. You are not called to live enslaved to your past, to your pain, or to the words spoken against you. For whom the sun sets free is free indeed. And urgently I declare, this freedom is yours now. Do not look at the chains as though they remain, for urgently I remind you, the sound you hear is their breaking. Every invisible weight that tried to keep you from rising is being cut off. Every curse that tried to follow your bloodline is being severed. Every dark pattern that tried to repeat itself in your life is being dismantled. Urgently I say, you will not carry forward the burdens of yesterday into the promise of today. You will not remain in cages built by lies, by sin, by disappointment, by betrayal, for I have unlocked the door, and you are stepping into liberty. And urgently I say, freedom is not only the absence of chains but the presence of strength. I am not only removing what bound you, I am filling you with power to walk confidently into your future. I am restoring your voice where silence once ruled. I am restoring your joy where sorrow once lingered. I am restoring your peace where torment once dwelt. Urgently I remind you, the chains fell from Paul and Silas as they worshipped in prison, and I am showing you that praise still breaks bonds, worship still opens gates, and my spirit still shatters every barrier. You may feel as though you have lived in bondage for too long, but urgently I tell you, no chain is stronger than my word, no prison is greater than my power, no captivity is beyond my reach. I am the deliverer, and I take delight in rescuing my children. The enemy fought to convince you that you would never be free, that you would always repeat the same cycles, that your future would always look like your past. But urgently I declare, those lies are silenced, for I have spoken freedom over you, and my decree cannot be overturned. And urgently I say, the freedom I release is not temporary, it is lasting. You will not taste liberty for a moment only to be dragged back again. You will not rise for a season only to be bound again. The deliverance I give is complete, sealed by my blood, sustained by my spirit, and guarded by my presence. Urgently I remind you, child, I broke the chains so that you may run without hindrance, live without fear, and walk without shame. And urgently I declare, this freedom is not for you alone but for others I will free through you. The testimony of your release will break chains in their lives. The authority you carry will dismantle their prisons. The anointing upon you will set captives free. You will carry keys that open doors for others, words that dismantle their lies, prayers that shatter their chains. The freedom I release in you will multiply beyond you, and soon you will see lives transformed simply because you dared to believe that I set you free. So urgently I say, rise now in this freedom. Walk boldly, speak confidently, live joyfully. Do not look back at the shackles, they are broken. Do not look down at the chains, they are gone. Lift your eyes to me, for I am your deliverer, and your freedom is the evidence that I am with you always. I am lifting the veil from your eyes, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the haze that blurred your vision, the shadows that distorted truth, the illusions that made you doubt. They are being removed, for I am giving you eyes to see clearly. Urgently I say, you will no longer walk half-blind through decisions, no longer stumble through uncertainty, no longer mistake lies for truth. I am opening the eyes of your spirit to discern what is real from what is counterfeit, what is eternal from what is temporary, what is from me and what is not. You will not be deceived by appearances. You will not be swayed by smooth words. You will not be trapped by false promises, because I am sharpening your sight with heavenly clarity. You have asked me, Lord, show me what is true, reveal what is hidden, and urgently I tell you, I am answering that cry now. I am exposing motives behind smiles, intentions behind words, foundations behind opportunities. I am revealing the snares laid in secret and the paths marked by my light. Urgently I remind you, when Elijah's servant trembled at the sight of enemies, I opened his eyes to see the armies of heaven surrounding them, and in the same way, I will open your eyes to see my provision, my covering, my hand at work even when circumstances seem overwhelming. And urgently I say, this unveiling will not only protect you, it will empower you. You will walk with a confidence rooted not in guesswork but in revelation. You will make decisions not out of fear but out of discernment. You will respond to challenges not with confusion but with wisdom that silences every lie. Urgently I declare, I am removing blinders from your spirit, blinders of tradition that limited you, blinders of shame that distorted your view of yourself, blinders of fear that made the future look impossible. You will now see yourself as I see you, strong and chosen, equipped and beloved, prepared and unstoppable. Do not fear the exposure that comes with unveiled sight, for urgently I tell you, I will reveal not only the strategies of the enemy, but also the treasures hidden for you. I will show you doors you overlooked, opportunities you dismissed, blessings you could not recognize before. I will reveal depths of my word that once felt locked, secrets of my heart that once felt distant, mysteries of my spirit that once felt unreachable. Urgently I remind you, I hide things not from you but for you, and this is the season I am uncovering them. And urgently I say, as I open your eyes, you will see with vision beyond yourself. You will see needs in others that you once missed. You will see potential in those who felt invisible. You will see chains in those who smiled outwardly but were bound inwardly, and you will carry the wisdom to help release them. Your sight will not only serve you, it will serve those I place around you. Urgently I declare, you will be a voice of clarity in a world of confusion, a light of direction in a world of distortion, a carrier of vision when others cannot see beyond their pain. So urgently I say, receive this unveiling. Do not resist what I reveal, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it shows you things you wished were not there. For I reveal not to harm but to heal, not to shame but to strengthen, not to confuse but to clarify. Urgently I tell you, child, lift your eyes now, for the veil is gone, and you will see with a clarity that changes how you walk, how you decide, how you live. This is the hour of unveiled vision, and with it, you will move forward with certainty that I am guiding your every step. I am restoring your voice, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the silence that tried to cover you, the intimidation that tried to mute you, the oppression that tried to strip away your words, it is breaking even now, for I have placed power in your voice, and you will no longer be hidden. Urgently I say, every attempt of the enemy to suppress your declaration, every strategy designed to weaken your sound, every lie that told you your words did not matter, all of it is being dismantled, because I created your voice as a weapon, and I will not allow it to remain buried. You will speak again with authority, and what you release will shift atmospheres, dismantle lies, and carry my truth into places you once thought unreachable. You believed your silence was safety, that hiding your words would protect you from pain or rejection, but urgently I remind you, I did not form your mouth to remain closed. I did not fill your heart with truth to be locked inside. I did not place fire in your spirit for it to smolder unseen. I called you to proclaim, to declare, to testify, to release, And urgently I declare, this is the season where your sound returns. You will rise not in whispers but in boldness, not in fear but in confidence, not in timidity but in strength. And urgently I say, your voice is not only for speaking to people but for declaring into the unseen. When you pray, heaven responds. When you decree, darkness flees. When you worship, chains break. Do not underestimate the weight of your sound, for urgently I tell you, your words carry creative power because they align with mine. I spoke worlds into existence, and I placed in you the ability to speak life, to speak hope, to speak healing, to speak freedom. No more will you remain silent while lies roar. No more will you bow your head while truth is trampled. Urgently I say, your voice will rise as a trumpet, and it will not be silenced again. You may say, but Lord, what if they do not listen? And urgently I answer, your responsibility is not their response but your obedience. Speak as I command, and my spirit will pierce hearts. Release what I place in you, and my word will accomplish its purpose. Do not measure the value of your voice by human applause or rejection, for I am the one who gives weight to your words, and urgently I tell you, they will echo beyond what you can see. And urgently I declare, your voice will bring healing. Words of encouragement will restore the weary. Words of truth will guide the lost. Words of love will mend the broken. I will use your sound to awaken dry bones, to call forth hidden destinies, to lift up those who believed they had no strength left. Your testimony will unlock faith in others, and your declaration will open doors they could not open alone. Urgently I remind you, when Ezekiel spoke to the valley of dry bones, it was not his power but my breath through his voice that brought life, and in the same way, I will breathe through you as you speak. So urgently I say, rise from the silence. Shake off the intimidation. Open your mouth without fear, for I am filling it with words that carry weight, truth that cannot be denied, fire that cannot be quenched. Urgently I tell you, child, your voice matters, your words matter, your sound matters. I have restored it, I have anointed it, and I have sent it forth, and nothing will silence it again. I am awakening hidden gifts within you, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the abilities you did not know were there, the talents you buried beneath fear, the anointings you thought belonged only to others. They are stirring in you even now, rising to the surface, demanding to be used. Urgently I say, I did not design you to live half-formed or underdeveloped. I created you with layers of potential, and much of it has yet to be seen. You believed that because seasons passed without recognition, your gifts were small or insignificant. But urgently I remind you, delay does not mean absence. The treasure I placed within you is still there, and this is the hour I am calling it forth. You wondered why you felt restlessness, why dissatisfaction grew even in familiar places, why you felt a holy discomfort pushing you to more. Urgently I tell you that stirring is my spirit awakening what has long been dormant. The assignments coming to you require more than what you have walked in before. They require the fullness of who I created you to be. Urgently I declare, the prophetic sight in you will sharpen, the wisdom in you will deepen, the creativity in you will flow without hindrance, the leadership in you will rise with authority. What was hidden for safety is now being unveiled for impact. And urgently I say, do not fear these gifts, do not shrink back from them. Do not bury them again under excuses of unworthiness. I do not awaken gifts to shame you but to empower you. I do not call forth abilities to overwhelm you, but to equip you. Urgently I remind you, I give gifts not according to what you feel capable of, but according to my Spirit's power within you. What you cannot do on your own, you will accomplish through me. What feels too heavy in your strength will flow with ease in mine. And urgently I say, these gifts are not for you alone. They are for those I will touch through you. The healing gift I stir will bring restoration to the broken. The teaching gift I release will bring light to the confused. The gift of discernment I sharpen will protect many from deception. The gift of intercession I awaken will shift nations through prayer. Urgently I declare, you are not called to hoard what I place in you but to release it freely. knowing that as you pour out, I will pour in more. You may ask, Lord, how will I know which gift is mine? And urgently I answer, you will recognize it by the fire that burns in you when you move in it, by the peace that floods you when you obey in it, by the fruit that manifests when you release it. Do not overcomplicate what I make simple, what I call you to do, I will empower you to do, and as you step out in faith, you will see evidence that I have equipped you for it. And urgently I declare, your gifts will make room for you. They will open doors no man can close. They will position you in places you thought were inaccessible. But remember this, your gifts are tools, not trophies. They are instruments of my kingdom, not badges of pride. Use them with humility. Use them with love. Use them with the awareness that apart from me, they have no power. Urgently I say, the gifts I awaken in you now will not only bless others but will bring you into the fullness of joy you have been longing for, because you will finally walk in what I created you to do. So urgently I tell you, rise in confidence, child. Let the hidden gifts flow. Do not hold them back any longer. I placed them in you before you were formed. I preserved them until this time, and now I awaken them for the world to see my glory through you. I am calling you into deeper intimacy with me, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, this is the hour where surface connection will not be enough, where casual prayers will not sustain you, where distant worship will not satisfy your soul. Urgently I say, I long to draw you nearer, into the secret place where my presence surrounds you, where my voice is clear, where my heart is revealed. You have walked with me in glimpses, but urgently I declare, I desire to walk with you in fullness, where every part of your being is aligned with me, where your thoughts are saturated with my truth, where your spirit burns with my love. Do not think I am distant, for urgently I remind you, I am nearer than your breath, closer than your heartbeat, and I wait for you in the quiet, in the stillness, in the moments where distractions fade. I am not satisfied with half of your attention, for I gave you all of myself, and urgently I call you now, give me all of you. Do not hold back the broken pieces. Do not hide the questions. Do not pretend to be strong when you are weak. I do not reject your weakness. I dwell in it. I do not despise your honesty. I welcome it. Urgently I tell you, intimacy is not built in performance but in authenticity, and I want the real you, just as you are. And urgently I say, in this deeper place you will find strength you never knew, peace that cannot be shaken, joy that cannot be stolen. You will discover my whispers guiding you in the night, my hand resting upon you in the day, my spirit speaking truth that silences every lie. Urgently I remind you, intimacy with me is not for a select few. It is your inheritance, your portion, your calling. I designed you for communion, for friendship, for closeness that cannot be broken by storms or shaken by trials. You may say, Lord, how do I come closer? And urgently I answer, come as you are, consistently, intentionally, wholeheartedly. Meet me in worship when no one is watching. Speak to me in the quiet places where no one applauds. Listen for me in the still moments when the noise of life fades. Urgently, I tell you, I am not looking for perfection in your approach. I am looking for sincerity. When you draw near to me, I will draw near to you. When you seek me with all your heart, you will find me. When you hunger for more, I will satisfy you. And urgently I declare, this intimacy will anchor you in the days to come. When storms rage, you will not be shaken because you know my voice. When confusion rises, you will not be deceived because you recognize my presence. When the world trembles, you will stand firm because you are rooted in me. Urgently I say, intimacy with me is not a luxury. It is your lifeline, your safeguard, your source. Without it you will wither, with it you will thrive. And urgently I remind you, this intimacy will overflow into every part of your life. It will shake how you love, how you lead, how you speak, how you serve. Those around you will notice not because of your words but because of my presence upon you. They will sense peace when you enter, light when you speak, hope when you pray, not because of who you are but because of who you carry. Urgently I declare, I will make you a dwelling place for my Spirit, and everywhere you go will become an extension of the secret place. So urgently I say, my child, draw near. Do not delay, do not postpone, do not let distraction steal this invitation. I am waiting with arms open, ready to reveal more of myself to you. Come closer, for in intimacy with me, you will find the fullness of everything you have been longing for. I am preparing you for greater responsibility, my beloved, and urgently I tell you, the weight of what is coming will require maturity, discipline, and surrender unlike anything you have known before. Urgently I say, I am not only blessing you with gifts, revelation, and freedom, I am entrusting you with assignments that will carry impact beyond your imagination. These tasks are not for your glory, but for my kingdom, and urgently I remind you, to whom much is given, much will be required. You have prayed for increase, for promotion, for open doors, and now I am answering. But know this, the enlargement will stretch you, the responsibility will test you, the stewardship will refine you. Do not resist this refining, for urgently I tell you, it is preparing you to handle the abundance without being consumed by it. If you carry success without surrender, it becomes a snare. If you carry responsibility without dependence, it becomes a weight too heavy to bear. But if you walk with me, every responsibility becomes joy, every burden becomes light, every task becomes an opportunity for my power to flow through you. Urgently I say, do not look at what is coming with fear, for I am equipping you to handle it. You will not be crushed under the weight of my assignments. You will rise into them with strength and grace, because I am with you. And urgently I declare, the responsibility I am giving you will not only affect your life, but many lives tied to your obedience. There are souls waiting on the other side of your yes. There are nations that will feel the ripple of your surrender. There are generations that will benefit from the choices you make now. This is why I cannot allow you to remain casual. This is why I cannot allow you to treat lightly what I place in your hands. Urgently I remind you, you are a steward of my mysteries, a carrier of my glory, a vessel for my purposes, and I am trusting you to handle what I release with reverence, humility, and faithfulness. You may say, Lord, I am not capable of such things, and urgently I answer, that is why I chose you. For if you were sufficient in yourself, you would not depend on me. But I delight to use the weak to shame the strong, the overlooked to confound the wise, the ordinary to carry the extraordinary. Urgently I say, I do not call the qualified, I qualify the called, and I am qualifying you even now. And urgently I declare, this responsibility will not drain you but fulfill you. It will not rob you of life but give you purpose. It will not burden you into despair but lift you into joy. You will discover strength you did not know, wisdom you had not tapped into, courage you had not imagined, because I will be the one supplying it all. The responsibility I place on you is not a chain, but a mantle, not a weight, but an honor, not a curse, but a crown. Urgently I say, wear it with gratitude, carry it with humility, and walk in it with boldness, for this is what you were created for. And urgently I remind you, in the end it is not about tasks, positions, or titles. It is about love. Every responsibility I give is rooted in love for my people, love for the lost, love for the broken, love for the world I came to save. Do not lose sight of this. The greatest responsibility you carry is to love as I have loved you, to give as I have given to you, to forgive as I have forgiven you. If you keep love at the center, you will not stumble, you will not grow cold, you will not be swayed by the temptations of pride or fear. So you are, gently I say, child, prepare your heart. What I entrust to you now will shape eternity. Do not despise the wait. It is proof of my trust in you. Walk faithfully, and you will see my kingdom advance through your obedience. Amen.